I never thought a few plastic flamingos could start a war. But the moment my 8-year-old placed them on our lawn, our HOA president stormed over, shouting about community standards and property values. At first, I laughed it off. I thought it was just another petty HOA squabble. But then she came back, this time with something far more dangerous than words. That's when I realized this wasn't about decorations anymore. It was about control. And when someone threatens your child over lawn ornaments, they're not ready for what co. I'm next. When my family moved into Willow Creek Estates, it looked like paradise, quiet streets, perfect lawns, kids riding bikes, everyone smiling. After years in cramped apartments, this place felt like a dream. Our house was small, but it was ours, bright shutters, a little garden, and a front yard my son loved decorating. Every season, he'd add something new: pumpkins in fall, paper pinwheels in spring, and lights during winter. It was harmless, creative, pure childhood joy. But in Willow Creek, perfection wasn't just encouraged, it was enforced. The HOA controlled everything: grass height, mailbox color, even what kind of plants you could grow. Most people went along to avoid trouble. I thought we'd do the same. Until the first letter showed up. Your decorations violate HOA Section 5.3. Remove immediately. It was signed the board, but I knew the handwriting: Karen, the woman who lived 2 houses down, the self-proclaimed guardian of the neighborhood. I ignored the first note. Then came another, and another. Soon, she was taping photos of my lawn to our door, red circles drawn around my son's toys. That's when I realized this wasn't about decorations. It was personal. The letters kept coming, along with escalating. Fines, $54 unauthorized. Decor, $75 for visual. Clutter, $200 for aesthetic. Disturbance, apparently. A few flamingos and toy dinosaurs were enough to destabilize property values. Every time I tried to reason with her, she quoted the HOA handbook like it was scripture. But her yard? Full of unapproved lights and statues. It wasn't about rules. It was about power. Then one Saturday, it boiled over. My son had lined up toy dinosaurs in the flower bed. He was so proud, said they were guarding the flowers. That's when Karen appeared, clipboard in hand, arms crossed. I told you those don't belong here, she snapped. I told her to leave. She smirked, took pictures, and hissed, "You'll be hearing from the board." That night, someone drove by our house, headlights off, snapping photos. Again, that's when it hit me. This wasn't petty anymore. It was harassment. The fines passed $1,000. So I went to the HOA meeting to confront her. The room fell silent when I entered. Karen sat at the center like a queen behind her table of papers. I asked for proof of my violations. Real proof. She flipped through her binder, waving vague citations like community inconsistency and visual disruption. Nothing legal, nothing specific. When I pointed that out, she said, "You can appeal, but the board will uphold my decision." My decision, not the board's. That's when I realized she was the board. That night, anger replaced fear. I began fighting back. I researched HOA law, draft appeals, requested financial records, and copied everything. And just like that, her smug confidence cracked. The next week, I found a red notice on my garage door. Lien intent filed. She'd actually tried to put a lien on my home. That was the moment I stopped being scared. I called the county office. They confirmed her claim had no legal standing. But while I was learning the law, she was losing her mind. She started showing up late at night, parking across the street, taking photos of our windows. Neighbors said she was spreading rumors that I was unstable and unfit to live here. Then came the night everything's changed. It was just after sunset. I was putting tools away when I saw her car creeping toward the curb. Headlights off, she stepped out, holding something in her hand. First, I thought it was her phone. It wasn't. It was a gun. She wasn't pointing it, but she wasn't hiding it either. She stood there, glaring, her voice shaking with rage. "You've been warned." I froze. Then I called 911. When the sheriff arrived, I explained everything: the letters, the fines, the threats. He listened quietly, then said something that chilled me. "You're not the first." Turns out, she'd harassed other residents too, hiding behind HOA business. But this time, there was proof that I installed cameras the next morning, within 3 nights. I had everything. Her sneaking into my yard at 1 a.m., tearing down decorations, and even peering through my blinds. I handed it all to the sheriff. When they came to question her, she exploded, screaming in public, accusing me of ruining her life. For once, her bored allies backed away. They'd seen the truth, and when she returned to my property with that same gun, muttering about compliance, she didn't know a sheriff's deputy was watching. They arrested her on the spot, charges, brandishing a firearm, harassment, and trespassing. And for the first time in months, Willow Creek was quiet, but peace didn't last long. Karen posted bail within 24 hours and started spamming HOA forums with claims of corruption and false evidence. Then came the lawsuit. She was suing me for defamation. It would have been laughable if it wasn't so real. At the courthouse, she sat in her gray suit, chin high, acting like the victim. Her lawyer called her a dedicated leader. Then my attorney pressed play on the footage. There she was, 1:04 a.m., ripping my decorations from the soil. And then, the gun, pointing toward my porch. The room went silent. When the sheriff confirmed it was loaded, the case was done. The judge stared her down. Mrs. Thompson, you didn't protect your community. You terrorized it. Restraining order granted. The case was referred for criminal review. I walked out of that courtroom feeling lighter than AI. My son ran up, holding one of his little flamingos. Can we put them back up now? He asked. I smiled. Yeah, buddy. It's time. For the first time in years, Willow Creek was at peace. Karen's house sat empty, a crooked for sale sign swaying in the breeze. The DA pressed full charges, 6 months in jail, 3 years probation, and a lifetime HOA ban. The woman who once fined people for messy lawns was now doing court-ordered landscaping. Karma? Maybe justice? Definitely. The new HOA was different. Neighbors, not dictators. They threw out half the old rules and added one simple line. Homeowners are encouraged to express joy through their property. And on the first neighborhood day, families filled the streets. Kids ran around. Decorations sparkled. Laughter echoed again. Someone even made a sign. Freedom of Flamingos. For the first time, Willow Creek felt alive. Not perfect, just real. Looking back, I learned something. Power isn't evil, but the wrong person holding it, that's dangerous. And silence? That's how people like her thrive. We teach our kids to stand up to bullies. Maybe it's time we adults do the same, because sometimes the smallest act of defiance, a toy, a decoration, a plastic flamingo, is what reminds everyone that freedom starts at home. A year later, my son came outside with a box of hand-painted stars. New decorations, he said, grinning. We hung them up together. Messy, colorful, beautiful. The whole street sparkled, and for once, the neighborhood didn't look perfect. It looked alive. Because this story was never about lawn ornaments. It was about standing up for what's right. We didn't just beat Karen. We reclaimed our home, our peace, and our voice. And no HOA rulebook will ever take that away again.